Historic Stays 101, where we feature some of the best heritage properties across the world. In this episode, we are taking you to a beautifully restored Haveli in the heart of Udaipur called Kaladwas Lal Haveli. This Haveli tells stories not just through its walls and architecture, but through thoughtfully restored corners and traditions. Through painstaking labor over several years, the 300-year-old Haveli has been restored and revived through the efforts of Parakram Singh Chawra, the director and founder. Parakram is a heritage enthusiast who turned his 300-year-old family home into a living, breathing legacy. Let's step into the past with him and learn all about how history is being relived, one lime plastered wall at a time at Kaladwas Lal Haveli.
Hello, and to start on, this is Parakram Singh Chawra. I have been born and brought up in Udaipur, and then I have done my MBA from Narsamunji, did my MSc from King's College London, and have done a few marketing projects for luxury brands. And in the meantime, I was a very passionate enthusiast for heritage art throughout. And being from a city like Udaipur, you're already surrounded by so much of natural beauty, heritage, living heritage, and the perfect amalgamation of the already existing flora and fauna with the architectural marvels that are in the city. So we had our family home in the old city, which was the Kaladwas Lal Haveli now, and we used to live there in 2017, and in 2018 we started the restoration. So it was a passion project to start with. The project was initially started to restore the Haveli to its utmost glory. So it was a lot of effort, a lot of research. We got an archaeologist to even carbon date the materials that were used to construct the Haveli, the procedures of construction that were earlier used when the Haveli was constructed, that is 710 AD. So there were a series of procedures, activities, and research that were involved to restore the Haveli. For instance, we did not use cement, we used lime plaster for the walls, where the lime, jacquerie, lentils, marble powder is mixed and applied in 7 layers in 7 forms to the wall to get the final finished product. It is quite a labor-intensive procedure. For instance, the rooms that we have done, they have materials like turmeric and indigo to get the colors. So everything that has been in the Haveli has been a process that was originally used to construct it, and we try to recreate it in its utmost authenticity. Now, coming down to the history of the Haveli, so this used to be my family home. It has been a part of my family for the past 300 years. So Kaladwas is a fiefdom which was under the Mewar estates. Our family was originally from Gujarat, Warsoda, where we had our own estate called Warsoda. But during the time of Maharana Bhim Singh Ji, we had battle alliances with Mewar. And that is the time we were jointly granted the Jagirs of Kaladwas and Arjia and Mewar. But as we had our base in Warsoda, it was only for administrative work that the family used to travel here. So that's when we had the Haveli in the old city, which initially served as the administrative center of the Kaladwas and later on served as the residence of my family. And as I mentioned, we ourselves used to reside here till 2017. So that's the brief history about the Haveli, and it has grown through. The Haveli has been a part of Udaipur for 300 years. So even the locality that it is in still reflects that. You can still feel the people associated with the Haveli living next to it and recalling the memories that they have been living through their lifetime. So we have tried to capture that in the experiences of the Haveli as well. From jewelry making classes, which are being hosted by a jewelry maker whose shop is 150-year-old right next to the Haveli, to cooking classes where we bring in the family recipes. Everything has been curated, keeping in mind to revive the living heritage of the place in its utmost vibrancy possible. So in 2017, we just decided to at least restore it. And while we were restoring it, we didn't realize that we'll go in that depth of restoration and reviving the procedures of restoration. So while doing that, travel was something that was always a part that I wanted to be associated with. So we devised a plan that why not convert it into a boutique hotel, something which encapsulates not just the architectural authenticity of Udaipur, but also the experiential legacy of the city. So the Haveli is just a reflection of the perfect amalgamation of the living and the tangible and the intangible heritage that we are offering here. So initially just a restoration of an old family home. Later on, we planned on to devise it into a boutique hotel and try to offer that same experience to our guests and spread the authenticity and the vibrancy of Udaipur as much as we can. So it took us approx 6 to 7 years to complete the restoration because the Haveli is in the old city with very narrow lanes. It's on a very busy street. So a lot of work was done during the night time. A lot of materials could not be gotten because of the narrow streets and the heavy traffic in the city. Even the sourcing of materials, the sourcing of the right artisans who still know those art forms, those methods of construction was a time consuming process. But yeah, good things take time. So here we are. And we opened our gates to the guests in 2024, January, and we've been on since then. So as I earlier also mentioned, so gutai is what they call line plastering also. So gutai is the final layer that is applied after the line plaster. So in gutai, there's 7 different layers which are applied one after the other on the wall. After the placement of bricks or stone has been done in the gutai in the limestone plaster. And after that, the gutai is done again with using limestone and other materials, for instance, jacquerie, straw paste, lentils, gone. Those materials are mixed with limestone, and then there are 7 different compositions which are being prepared and applied to the wall one after the other, which gives the final product. So they say the maturing age of a gutai, it starts maturing after 40 years and it can last centuries. That's why we see so many palaces and castles, centuries old, still standing intact, because they use these methods of construction, which were organic, sustainable, and also had a much more longer lasting effect. And even the labor who were involved in it, they have that zeal, they have that association with this art from generations. So they have been doing this and has been passed on from one generation to the other. So you can see that dedication, that passion in their work that they do, because it's an art in itself. It's not just cementing the walls. It's making sure the right compositions are applied in the right color palettes. Mixing of the colors play a very major role, like the walls, getting those colors out of a natural material where the natural materials are available in so much inconsistency. So sourcing the right materials, mixing them in the right way, then applying and the process, everything is the artisan's magic. So yeah, the entire Haveli has been made using the Rajasthani style of architecture. So again, as you can see everywhere in the Haveli, the doors are short in height. So there were multiple reasons for that. So the Haveli, we haven't restored the entire Haveli, we have just restored 1/4 of the original building. So this part of the Haveli was the Janana portion, the ladies' part of the Haveli. So this was specially reserved for the ladies. So that's why you'll see more colored glasses, and even the windows and are in a placement where the privacy is even maintained, and even the room sizes are in such a way which used to facilitate the changing rooms and the dressing rooms and all of that. And the walls, like most of the parts in the Haveli, you see the walls are around 3 to 4 feet thick. So that used to act as an insulating factor. So that used to moderate the temperature inside the Haveli as well. Like in the summers, the temperature won't go too high, and in the winters it won't go too cold. So it used to act like an insulator in the Haveli. So all these form of architectural instances are still alive in the Haveli. From the stonework that has been done, from the grass inlay, from the Belgian glass being used, to the wood carvings, everything we have tried to keep as intact and as authentic as how the Mewari model of architecture was. And also a lot of other elements in the Haveli are very prominently visible, where the steps used to be really steep. So the steps were placed in such a way that I feel they were doing some good stretches and cardios in their walk up and down the floors as well. So yeah, all those elements are still visible in the property, and we have tried to retain as much as we could. So we have 7 different theme-based rooms, and every room is based on a different theme and has a different set of experiences attached to the room. For instance, right now I'm sitting in Rak Chandan, which is the room themed on war. So you'll get the paintings of the famous battles fought in the region. On my right, you can see that's the Battle of Haldi Ghati, which is also called the Thermopylae of India, where fought against Akbar, one of the most gallant battles Indian history has ever seen. And it was an epitome of bravery and valor, because an army so small still being able to stand strong grounds against a much bigger army has been an inspiration to the Indian history and even the freedom struggle to a great extent. So the room not just offers that, but a series of other elements. Also in the experiential part, the food which will be served in the room will be what the soldiers used to eat 300 years back. You'll get a massage which was given to the soldiers 300 years back. You'll get a city tour curated for the war prominent sites. So these are the kind of experiences that are for this room particularly. Then one room is themed on festivals, so you'll get the food which was served during festivities 300 years back. You'll get the massages which were given during the festivals. You'll get a city tour curated for the festival prominent sites. So similarly, we have a total of 7 different themes, 7 different experiences, and 7 different ways we have tried to communicate the authentic living heritage and living legacy. That's why we have planned to retain every guest for at least 7 days so they can have every room to be experienced once. So it's a complete immersive experience where you are almost time traveling. You're staying in a building which has been authentically restored 300 years back, constructed with experiences which also date the same. So you are not just experiencing the touch and feel of the place, but also you are living the kind of lifestyle people back in those days used to live. What kind of food they used to eat, how the procedures, the practices, the traditions were carried on. So it's just a way to make people live a glorious past that was the city's highlight back in those days, and just a way to be more connected and experience the authenticity of the old city of Udaipur in its utmost form. So it's just a way to living the living heritage. Firstly, talking about the festive season, as the Haveli is in the heart of the old city of Udaipur, you get to experience all the festivities that go around in the city. For instance, Holi, Dulhari celebration. That the main Dulhari celebration happens just next to the Haveli. So if you're visiting for Holi celebrations, Udaipur, you can just walk out of the Haveli and get to see the old city's Holi celebration. The Rath Yatra, which goes from the Jagdish temple, that goes from the Haveli. The Gangaur celebration and also the procession for Gangaur goes right in front of the Haveli. So every festival that happens in the city, if you're staying in the Haveli, you get to live it right next to you. You get to experience it right at a doorstep, right? As soon as you step out of the door, you get to experience that particular experience that the city has to offer. And also in the Haveli, we have kept numerous experiences. For instance, we have miniature painting classes in the Haveli. So miniature painting is a very famous art form of this particular region of Mewar in itself. So we give the guests exclusive miniature painting classes in the Haveli where the artisan, the painters come in and they teach them how the process was done and even make them paint small instances in the style of miniature painting. Then we have cooking classes at the rooftop. So we have a rooftop restaurant which also serves the authentic Mewari cuisine, where we also do cooking classes at the rooftop where the guests, if they want to take back home the taste of Mewar, they can learn how to make some interesting recipes here and carry back that memory and also a skill that'll be passed on throughout their life. And also we have an exclusively curated city tours, which whatever the inclination of the guest is. For instance, if someone is into textiles, so maybe we'll arrange turban time, a bandage, heritage walk for them where they get to see how the textile of the region evolved or how the procedures, different procedures, and how the elements of textile making in this particular city used to be and still are being carried forward through generation. So over here, we try to create a very immersive, personalized experience for the guest, trying to connect them to the roots of Mewar and offering a memory that would last lifetime. We do have a rooftop restaurant. We also have a library which houses the book collection of my grandfather who was in World War II. So he has a collection of books from all the countries that he went to. So we have housed his collection of books as well in the Haveli. So the guests can feel free and grab one of the most exclusive reads they can ever get their hands on. Along with that, we also have a roadside cafeteria, which is the best place to lounge and relax and have a good vibe of the old city while sipping a good Darjeeling tea. So, and also being in the center of the city, we do organize heritage walk, heritage tours, old city walks, whatever are required by the guest and the experience that they're looking for. I would just express my warm welcome, and we'll be looking forward to hosting the guests and meeting new and interesting people and making sure that they have an absolutely memorable time in Udaipur and they get to live Udaipur in its utmost glory and its most beautiful form. That's what our target, our motto, and our passion is. And we look forward to hosting beautiful people at our Haveli.
From thoughtfully curated rooms and meals to rich experiences, this Haveli is clearly not just a place to stay. It gives its guests the opportunity to time travel. Parakram's journey is a proof of what passion, patience, and purpose can build. If you've ever dreamed of living inside history, this boutique experience in the heart of Udaipur is waiting for you. Many thanks to Parakram for joining us and sharing all about this incredible historic property he runs. If you would like to stay at Kaladwas Lal Haveli, check out the links in the description. If you have any questions for Parakram, drop us a comment. Until next time.